Hey everyone, Chris from Blu-ray Critic, and welcome to my Blu-ray haul update where I show you guys what I picked up from this past week. Starting things off with a classic Robin Williams film from 1984, and I really love this film. I would consider this one to be in my top 5 of Williams's films, and that is Moscow on the Hudson, which is released by Twilight Time. And if you're not familiar with Twilight Time releases, they specialize in limited edition sets, usually 3,000 to 5,000 copies. This one is limited to 3,000. And you can get their films for around $30, and that's not including the shipping. But periodically, if you sign up for their newsletter, you can get their films for around $20. But if you don't mind paying the $30 now, I would highly recommend this film. This is Robin Williams at his best, and he plays a Russian immigrant who's a musician, and he's on tour with this circus act. So they head out to New York City to perform out there, and after their performance, they're going to go back to Moscow again. And that's when Robin Williams decides to ditch his circus act buddies and stays in America for the American dream and just falls in love with the city. And there's this really funny scene where he's walking the street, kind of like window shopping, and he gets suspicious. There's like this guy that's following him. He gives him a weird smirk, this weird smile on his face. And he's thinking, oh, it's like one of those immigration officers that's trying to deport him back to Russia. And that's when he finally asks him, he's all like, who are you? KGB? FBI? And the guy's all like, oh no. GAY. And then Robin's characters are like, oh, sorry. Really funny scene, man. But yeah, with this release, you get a couple commentary tracks, the isolated score track, and you get a booklet as well. So that is Moscow on the Hudson. And next is a film that I grew up watching with my buddies, and that is Dirty Work with Norm Macdonald. And we used to watch this as a double feature with Half Baked with Dave Chappelle. So yeah, hopefully that film will get a Blu-ray release too, man, because that one's really hilarious. So this one also co-stars Artie Lange, Chevy Chase, and Chris Farley, where he has a cameo at this bar. And there's this scene at the bar where Norm's having beers with Artie Lange, and he's like, things could have been worse. I could have gotten my nose bitten off by Saigon whore. And that's when Chris Farley hears him, and he slowly turns around, and he's all like, you bastard. Really hilarious, man. So this is released by Olive Films. You don't get any special features, but you just get a theatrical trailer. I got this for $14 and change. Definitely worth it for this comedy. And for this next film, I finally decided to upgrade to Blu-ray, and that is American Graffiti. And I've seen this one so many times, but I picked this up for $6 and change, and can't beat that with the slipcover. And this is directed by George Lucas, early day of his career, and he directed this one right after THX. This one was released in 1973. And this is a really nice coming-of-age film. Also features Richard Dreyfuss, a young Ron Howard, and young Harrison Ford. Really nice film about hot rods, boys being boys, women, just classic. This is actually produced by Francis Ford Coppola, too. And next up is the buddy comedy Bulletproof with Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler, and this was released in 1996. And man, I hadn't seen this one in well over a decade, but decided to pick this one up because I recently picked up Major Pain, which is of course with Damon Wayans as well, and I remembered he did this one along with Blank Man, which still does not have a Blu-ray release, but hopefully we'll get that one soon at some point too. But if you haven't seen this film, really worth checking it out, man. I got this for $5. So for that price, I'm like, gotta definitely get that. And next, I ended up picking up the horror film Frailty with Bill Paxton and Matthew McConaughey. And this also marks Bill Paxton's directorial debut. And what a great actor he was, man. If you want to see one of his finest works, definitely check this one out. We did seriously lose one of the greatest actors that we had in Hollywood. But in this one, Bill Paxton plays a character in which he's a serial killer and he's possessed by the demon. And he sets out and kills a bunch of innocent people thinking that God is telling them to do this. But yeah, just one of his finest works. This also includes the commentary track by Bill Paxton, a bunch of other behind-the-scenes featurettes. Really great film. And for these next films, I've done full reviews for them on my channel, so if you're looking for more in-depth info on them, you can definitely look there. Starting things off with a brand new release from Ben Affleck, which marks his fourth film that he directed, and that is Live by Night. And unfortunately, this didn't do too well at the box office, but that doesn't mean it's a bad film. I was quite impressed with this one. And this one, Ben Affleck plays a character in which he's a soldier turned outlaw, and he's trying to steal a bunch of cash from the mob boss. And great production on this one, man, and a lot of familiar faces, including Chris Cooper. But yeah, this took Ben Affleck a couple years to make, and yeah, and it's actually produced by Leonardo DiCaprio. Great film, man. Definitely check this one out. And also Silence, which is directed by Martin Scorsese, and this one took him nearly 30 years to get this film made because he didn't own the rights to the movie itself, so he had to go through various court battles. and production delays because he was making other films at the time. And the story is about two Christian missionaries where they head out to Japan in search of their mentor, which is played by Liam Neeson. But what a beautiful atmospheric film and great performances. And all the characters had to lose a lot of pounds to get this film made just the way Martin Scorsese envisioned it to be. But yeah, definitely worth checking this film out, man. It really is a beautiful movie. And next up, Passengers, a science fiction film with Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. And I really like this film a lot too. And the critics basically trashed this film, man, but I don't understand why, because I thought it was a really decent movie. I thought Chris Pratt did a great job, and even Jennifer Lawrence, and I'm not the biggest Jennifer Lawrence fan, but I was impressed by her performance in this, and I like the whole tribute to the homage that they do to The Shining as well, the bar scene, which if you want some more info on that, you can of course check out my full review for this film. And next up, Sing, which is the animated musical comedy, which kids and adults will absolutely love this one, and you get a bunch of songs in here, about 85 songs in total. Music from the 1940s all the way up to 2016, and a lot of famous songs in this one. But yeah, I was impressed with this one too. I didn't think I would like it, but I just found myself, singing to the songs, and had a really great time with that one. And finally, The Creeping Garden, which is a documentary by Arrow Academy. And Arrow Academy is new to the US because they would only have their films released out in the UK under the Region B. So you can finally get their stuff here. And they're the same company as Arrow Films, Arrow Video. So this was a really fascinating documentary about slime molds. And what slime molds are, they're basically organisms that grow out on various stuff, plants and trees, primarily in the forest. So it was just really interesting stuff, man. And pretty eerie too. The music was great in this one, and you get the soundtrack included. It's a 2-disc set. It's actually a 3-disc set, which includes the Blu-ray, the DVD, and the soundtrack itself. Of course, the booklet as well, reversible artwork. Lots of great stuff, man. So if you're into science and documentaries, I think you'll get a kick out of this one. So that's my latest pickups for this past week. Bunch of good stuff here. Thanks for taking a look, and I'll see you guys soon in my next update. Take care.